This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, New Zealand outside of Auckland approaches level 2 while more than 2.5 million Kiwis are vaccinated. Wanaka's pop-up vaccination centre proves popular over the weekend. And how long should it take for a parcel to get from Mosgiel to North Dunedin? Surely less than a month. Tēnā koutou katoa, namihi o te ahiahi nei. Kia ora, I'm Simon Anderson. The country outside of Auckland will move to COVID Alert Level 2 midweek as 20 new community cases were recorded in Auckland today. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern addressed the nation at 4 p.m. this afternoon.
It's official. The rest of New Zealand, except Auckland, is to go to COVID Alert Level 2.
Cabinet has agreed that all of New Zealand beyond the boundaries to the north and south of Auckland will move to Level 2 at 11:59 p.m. tomorrow, Tuesday, the 7th of September.
At this afternoon's briefing around 4 p.m, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said the country will go to Alert Level 2 from 11:59 p.m. tomorrow, with schools set to reopen Thursday morning. Level 2 will be different this time. Face coverings are to be mandatory in shops, indoor malls, libraries and in hospitality. Although she says you can take off masks to eat and drink. Staff who work in these areas will be masked at work. There are 20 new cases of COVID-19, all in Auckland, bringing the total number of people with COVID-19 to 821. Director General of Health Dr Ashley Bloomfield says more than 2.5 million people have had their first dose of the COVID vaccine, with more than 1.3 million New Zealanders having had their second dose. In Dunedin, the South Today.
What is left of an historic Central Otago villa destroyed in a fire this morning is being demolished. Fire and Emergency New Zealand crews were called to the bank, an historic bed and breakfast in Ophir at 8:30 this morning. Fenn says the Swindon Street property was well involved, so fire crews focused on protecting surrounding structures. There were 4 appliances at the scene and firefighters were battling strong winds. A fire and emergency spokesman says the building was deemed unsafe and a digger was on site to demolish it as the roof had collapsed. Vaccinations against COVID-19 are continuing apace across the south, with 2 different drive-through clinics operating in Wanaka over the weekend. One of the drive-through clinics is also planning to open again next Saturday.
People around Wanaka were able to get their first or second jab of COVID-19 vaccine at a number of different sites over the weekend. Friday and Saturday saw a drive-through clinic vaccinate close on 500 people at the Wanaka Recreation Centre car park.
Oh, it's cracker. Yeah, it's fantastic. And it's easy.
And the Wanaka Aspiring Medical Centre stepped out of its clinic rooms to make use of a warehouse formerly operated by Mitre 10. Nursing and Quality Leader Maureen McNeil says they had over 1,000 people booked on the Saturday.
We decided to have a drive-in because we've always been limited in the numbers of people that we can vaccinate by the space that we have for the observation area, and that obviously got worse, got more difficult in level 4. So we tried to think about how we can get bigger numbers through, and we were lucky enough that Mitre 10 made this building available for us to use.
Another clinic is set to be held at the Mitre 10 building next Saturday, and COVID vaccination clinics are also running at the Wanaka Community Hub each week from Wednesday through to Saturday. In Wanaka, the South Today.
Dunedin pharmacies are reporting a massive amount of missed COVID-19 vaccination appointments as people forget to cancel their bookings. The no-shows are thought to result from people taking advantage of drive-through clinics and then forgetting to cancel their existing booking. People who have existing bookings are also currently not being reminded by texts sent from government vaccination agencies. Pharmacies are saying on Sundays about a quarter of pre-arranged bookings are not turning up. The term snail mail is synonymous with slow communication, but a recent Dunedin delivery may have been even slower than that. A cross-down parcel expected to take a maximum of 5 days arrived at its destination 42 days after it was sent.
This rare 17th century brass knob was originally loaned to a watchmaker in Outram to see if a copy could be made. But when it was deemed too hard a job, it was sent from the Mosgiel post shop back to the North Dunedin post box of the couple to whom it belonged. Unfortunately, it's taken 42 days to travel 17 kilometres, a distance the couple reckoned they could have easily walked in half a day.
You know, that's three or 4 hours walk according to our normal speed.
Yes.
While they were worrying about New Zealand Post having lost their antique brass knob, they did get another letter from the same company.
We actually got a tracked letter in our letterbox down below. This is a tracked letter with a sort of label on to the occupier, and we opened it. It was from New Zealand Post, saying this letter is just to see if our delivery service works. And it had taken 3 days to get there.
Bernadette Hay of Timepieces NZ, who sent the parcel, said once it appeared to be lost, it was an awkward process involving multiple phone calls and emails to try and lodge a claim for an item that hadn't actually been purchased online.
I think they seem to be set up for items that have been purchased, that if there's an issue with them, they kept asking me for online auction details.
Oh gosh.
And I explained there was no, I said not applicable.
Yes.
And also there was no record. The 3 people that I had spoken to, the last lady I dealt with, there was no record of my conversation with those people, so she had none of those details.
The owners of the brass knob are pleased to have the rare item safely back, but question why overseas purchases take half as long to get here.
Easy Buy was offering tweed jackets, Harris tweed jackets, genuine Harris tweed jackets from England, and they had the right colour and my right size, so we ordered one, and we ordered it, and 2 weeks later it arrived by courier on our doorstep from England.
New Zealand Post were contacted for comment but had not responded in time for publication. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, demolition of the former Cadbury factory has resumed, and we talk with the head of Dunedin's Economic Development Unit about the effects of COVID Level 2 on the city. Ka kite a konei.
Inside are all sorts of innovations from all over China.
TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Hi, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. We have a massive manufacturer's clearance plus. There's liquidated stock from our suppliers. For example, we have cotton casual trousers from 1990, dress trousers from 1990, merino zip pullovers, fashion shirts, warm winter shirts, jackets. There's a great deal on overcoats, blazers and suits. Come and check out our jeans. We're known for our jean selection.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Come in and see the massive manufacturer's clearance at Alex Campbell Menswear.
John's doing his bit to make lockdown better. Lockdown deals, 30 to 50% off while lockdown lasts. Shop online now and save. Pick up later or get delivered with contactless options available at level 3. Lockdown deals. You might be stuck in your bubble, but that doesn't mean you can't shop at My Mate John's. Plus, interest-free payment options available only at mymatejohn.co.nz.
Where'd you get that furniture from? Stafford Street and My Mate John.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Hoki mai anō. The new Dunedin Hospital construction project could add up to $100 million a year to the local economy. That's according to a report from a consultancy firm called Sapir. Demolition on the former Cadbury factory site is nearing completion, with the building of the new hospital expected to take about 10 years. About half of the projected workforce are expected to be Dunedin residents. The financial report says over that time more than $250 million will be added to Dunedin's household income. An estimated 750 trade workers will be employed during the build, plus up to 200 consultants, engineers and other professionals. The nation has experienced level 3 COVID-19 restrictions for about a week, with some businesses able to trade. Construction projects have also resumed. The economic impact on Dunedin has been sizable. Head of Enterprise Dunedin, John Christie, joined BL'AZERS via Zoom this afternoon.
Kia ora, John. Thanks for joining us. How's the week of level 3 been for the city?
Well, obviously it's a lot better than the week previous, and we did see some more activity around our city with the freeing up of some of the sectors that were able to reopen under the restricted conditions that they had.
And what are you hearing from businesses and those in economic areas ahead of the announcement?
Yeah, well, look, level 3 for a lot of businesses is still very difficult for many of them to operate effectively. So there were many that were looking forward to a level 2, even with some additional restrictions that might be put into place. That's because they can actually operate more effectively that way. And, I think if the announcement today is for a level 2, then that will be welcomed by many of our businesses, particularly those in the hospitality sector and some tourism operators who, obviously have been impacted more than most.
As I'm sitting in the Allied Press building, the sounds and vibrations of the Cadbury demolitions are quite evident, so that they're back at work. What effect has that had on the economy?
Yeah, look, obviously construction, we've seen a lot of builders and others in that sector that were able to operate under level 3. So, those sectors are performing well, as are those where people can work from home. So, we have seen some businesses still doing quite well, even under level 4 lockdown. But level 2 really does enable a lot of other businesses to get up and running when they can't under either level 3 or level 4 conditions.
Some have said this lockdown's been quite tough and tougher than the first one. Have you heard from any businesses who are just finding it too tough and had to shut up shop?
Look, I haven't heard of too many that are saying they're going to shut up shop, but I think it does take its toll emotionally on people. It's the unpredictability of when and if we go to various levels, which I think that uncertainty provides a high degree of anxiety for people and for business owners in particular. So any announcement that sees us with fewer restrictions, I think will be welcomed and will provide some certainty back into the market that, we will be through this and we will be back to operating more normally as time goes by.
As we're recording this a couple of hours before the government's announcement, if you look into your crystal ball and have a guess at the effect for level 2 on the city.
Yeah, look, I think level 2 will see a lot of businesses reopening their doors, particularly those in the hospitality sector. We may see some restrictions on there, but I guess the sooner we can get those businesses up and running, the better for them. And we will see some of our tourism operators that are going to be operating under different conditions, but will open their doors and be looking to get people back through their operations. I think it's worth reminding ourselves that supporting local businesses, particularly at this point in time, is welcomed by those businesses. Pre-buying vouchers or perhaps getting in early on some of your Christmas shopping and getting maybe a voucher for a tourism operation would be really welcomed. And this is a great time to be supporting our local businesses.
I imagine it's not just in the city, I mean, across the whole of Otago.
Look, that's certainly the case, and we're still very dependent on Auckland as a market. So, the sooner New Zealand can get back to lower alert levels, the better for everybody. And, I'm grateful that we're not in the situation that Auckland is, but we really do want them to be dropping levels as soon as is healthy to do so, and getting that market back as well.
We've heard in the media about businesses, including like a lettuce grower in Outram, having to throw food away because he can't get it into the farmers market. What sort of impact do you think we'll have when we can open things like the farmers market up again?
Oh, look, I think our community really will want to see the farmers market, some of our events back up and running. Having, gatherings of whatever number the government will set as a maximum, I think will be welcomed. That social interaction is really important too. And I think, the sooner we can see our community functioning again, the better for people's mental well-being.
Just finally, what advice would you have for any who are struggling at this time in the economic sector?
Yeah, look, I think for anyone that's really struggling, they need to seek out good advice and seek it out early. There's a lot of government support from a lot of different agencies that is available for businesses and for people's mental well-being. So my advice would be, seek out that advice and do it early.
John Christie, thanks very much for your time.
Pleasure, thanks.
After the break on the south today, some very rare birds have been released into the Mackenzie district, and we check out this week's weather. Hea koko ake nei.
John's doing his bit to make lockdown better. Lockdown deals. Shop online now and save. Pick up later or get delivered with contactless options available at level 3.
And my mate John.
Hi, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. We have a massive manufacturer's clearance plus. There's liquidated stock from our suppliers. For example, we have cotton casual trousers from 1990, dress trousers from 1990, merino zip pullovers, fashion shirts, warm winter shirts, jackets. There's a great deal on overcoats, blazers and suits. Come and check out our jeans. We're known for our jean selection.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Come in and see the massive manufacturer's clearance at Alex Campbell Menswear.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
What have you got? Okay. Chicks World, Party Time, Excellent.
Love it!
Chicks World. Chicks World.
Namainor, welcome back. Despite lockdown, Department of Conservation staff were given permission last week to release a number of rare black stilts into the Mackenzie Basin. The latest release of young captive-reared black stilts, or kaki, was just one of several in recent times as seen on this file footage from 2 years ago. The species have been intensively managed by DOC for the last 40 years, since the population declined to just 23 birds. There are now about 170 adult black stilts in the wild. The juveniles that were released this year will not be included in population counts until they reach breeding age next year. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. New Zealand outside of Auckland approaches level 2 while more than 2.5 million Kiwis are vaccinated. Wanaka's pop-up vaccination centre proved popular over the weekend. And how long should it take for a parcel to get from Mosgiel to North Dunedin? Surely less than a month. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, we welcome editor Barry Stewart. Kia ora, Barry.
Hello, Simon. Well, the big news, of course, is we're moving down to level 2 midnight Tuesday. So what does that mean? What are the new restrictions? So there are a number of extensions to the new level 2 restriction. They're calling it the Delta level, so that's the distinction. Mask wearing is the important one. People will be required to wear a face mask inside most public venues, including shops, malls, and public spaces. The other big thing is scanning. You must scan wherever you go. If in doubt, scan. So that's the message there. And also the numbers of people in venues, that's changed. It is now 50 people in an inside venue and 100 people at an outside venue. So that's a significant change from the previous lockdown rules. There's also a new 2 metre rule. It used to be 1, now it is 2. So that will limit the number of people that can go to gyms and libraries and the like. So and indeed supermarkets. So again, so all that list will be in the paper tomorrow. So have a look for that. But certainly there are opportunities for us to get out and about, which is encouraging, and I'm sure it'll be a boom for businesses and the like. And there are other things in the paper tomorrow too. We have a look at the wage subsidy, about the businesses in the south who have applied for that. We have a look on our travel page. We go cruising on Fiordland, in Fiordland. So that's an interesting story. And on the sports pages, we have an opinion piece on the controversial sending off of the All Black fullback Geordie Barrett yesterday. So we look at the rights and wrongs of that.
That's great, Barry. Thank you very much. And time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, quiet central Dunedin amongst the last days of level 3 COVID restrictions. Looking at the situation, a cold west to southwesterly airstream will blow over the region all week, but most days will be windy and rather cold for spring, with periods of wintry showers. Persistent snow showers over the ranges are likely. Starting at the northwest of the South Island, rain for both Westport and Greymouth, both on 13 degrees, with Greymouth even expecting thunder. Moving across to the northeast, rain for both places here as well. Nelson on 14, Blenheim on 15 degrees. Heading down to Canterbury, Kaikoura has showers too on 15 degrees. It'll be windy in both Christchurch and Ashburton, both on 17. Down south, westerlies increase across the region with showers for Lumsden and Gore, early reaching the Catlins and Balclutha later in the day, all on 10 degrees. Moving across to the Central Lakes area, gusty westerlies and showers everywhere. Tiano reaches 9 degrees, Queenstown and Wanaka 10, and Alexandra 11. To the northern towns, Twizel and Omarama reach 11 degrees, experiencing gusty westerlies and showers. A little warmer on the coast and more variable, Oamaru experiencing southwesterlies and late showers on 13, and Timaru variable winds on 14 degrees, just a risk of showers later on. In Dunedin, breezy northerlies and high cloud tonight with an overnight low of 9. Tomorrow morning, early northerlies develop into colder, fresh southwesterlies with showers before clearing during the afternoon. A high of 10 and a low of 7. And look out, Wednesday welcomes hail with near gale southwesterly winds, a high of 9 and a low of 4. And in Invercargill, showers tonight with strong westerlies and an overnight low of 8. Cloudy tomorrow with a few light showers during the morning developing into persistent rain later as westerly winds become strong to gale, a high of 10 and a low of 5. And wintry showers on Wednesday with hail likely and strong to gale southwesterlies. Very cold, a high of 8 and a low of 5 degrees. And that's the news this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and you can follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe to be notified of that southern news as it happens. Nō reira kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.